Hello, curious cooks. I'm going to show you something really revolutionary today. This right here looks like a gold slab, doesn't it? It is really gold for us to mix. It is gluten-free, it is gut-friendly, and it's high protein. Most of all, this is fermented lentil banku. And I'm going to use it for a smoothie. You know, smoothies are so versatile. From morning till evening, you can just do them. Any kind, any flavor that you like. And this gives you a non-dairy option also. Stick around. Let me show you that this fermented beans banku works well in a smoothie before I show you how to make the banku. I know banana is a staple and it always makes it creamy and so on. But you can do anything. You can even throw in some peanuts if you like it. You know, make it your own. But here I just want to show you how this beans banku can revolutionize your smoothie making. I'm actually even adding milk to it just to beef up the protein. Amount of protein in it. And you can use plant-based protein, you can use dairy if you want, you know, depending on your diet and so on. You can drizzle in honey, sweetness, you know, versatility. That's all we have here with the smoothies. And I'm showing you this powerful ingredient that can really take it up a notch. Really good. So you may be wondering what the banku tastes like. Because it's fermented lentils, it has sourness. And because it's cooked and gelatinized, it is creamy. And so it is protein, but then it acts in the smoothie like a banana, bringing it together and also giving it that sharp taste. Of course, my fruits in there also add to the sourness, but it's not overwhelming. It's really sweet, it's creamy, something you would love. And so I'm going to show you how to make the banku. Something you can keep in your fridge or even freezer for when you need it. Really, really versatile. I'll show you in a jiffy. Now the banku. Thanks for sticking around. Banku is a thick paste, like pap, or even thicker than that. It actually falls in a family of swallows, what is nowadays called swallows, and it's eaten by the Ghanaian people. Fermented corn. But here I'm introducing you to a new one, fermented beans banku. Banku making starts with making the dough, the banku dough. Here we are using beans. So I'm going to show you how the dough looks like and how to make it. I have for you fermented black-eyed beans and then fermented lentil beans. What you saw earlier was fermented lentils. For the details on how to ferment the beans and make the dough, you can watch one of my other YouTube videos. Making banku is very easy. You just need water and the dough. Mix it into a thick butter. And of course, it depends on how thick your dough is. How much water you add will depend on how thick your dough is.
But once you constitute that butter, you just keep stirring. Stir it because as it warms up, it gelatinizes and then it forms lumps around the pan at the bottom of it and on the sides. So you keep, turning it around, stirring and keeping it all together until it forms a ball. As it warms up, it begins to come together like that. Then you start breaking the lumps. You push the dough to the side of the saucepan and break the lumps, soft lumps actually. They are easily uh, broken and it becomes very smooth after a while. Now you can see that it's come together nicely. And at that point, you just add a little water if you need to and let it steam. Cover it to preserve the steam, perhaps for 5 minutes, and let it cook by itself cook through nicely.
You know it's cooked when it becomes elastic and starchy, the way it looks. The appearance and the texture changes and it becomes more elastic. So it's ready. Banku is usually molded into a ball by the natives. But I want to show you a way in which you can store it and be able to use it. You can actually also just make them into balls and it will work fine. So find a mold that works for you, size it the way you want. You can have a block, cut it up like I demonstrated to you, and let it cool. This is exactly what you saw at the beginning. When this thing cools down, it hardens. Then you can slice it. And you can slice, cube them, throw them into a Ziploc bag, just like any other ingredients for a smoothie. In fact, fermented beans dough is so versatile. I'll show you other recipes you can make with fermented beans dough. All the best when you try it.